Hari Om, everybody. Okay, so last time we saw that in verse 30, we had already seen Bhagwan has given the um, guidelines for Karma Yoga. And then he says that in his opinion, if a person follows this with Shraddha, with faith, without criticizing, without cavilling this teaching, then he will be freed from the bondage of karma. Bondage of karma is the pressure of the vasanas. Not that he'll be physically freed from karma, but from the bondage, which is the pressure, the internal pressure of the vasanas, which is making him have intense desires, which in turn is giving rise to intense action. That pressure will reduce. And then he says later on, the one who doesn't, the next verse 32, but there is a two there. So, but the one who does not follow this, he is then geared for destruction. And destruction here again is not a physical destruction, but it is that he will remain in this cycle of birth and death, which is nothing but sorrow, samsara, this transmigration, change. Change is sorrowful. So this realm of transmigration, he can never transcend if he does not follow the teaching. Then Bhagwan went on to say that this push of vasanas is actually so strong. It is an internal push. When this push is there to commit action, to take, it could be either for good action or for bad action. Outside nigraha kim karishe. So outside instructions, they cannot help such a person when that pressure is very, very strong. Okay, this is what he has said. And then we were in the next one. We are on 34 now. So what should be done? What should be done so that that pressure is reduced? What is the instruction? And that is what is being given in verse 34. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayor navashama gachet tauyasya paripanthinau. Attachment and aversion for the objects of senses abide in the senses. Let none come under their sway, for they are his foes. Okay, so what in chapter 2, verse 14, we have already seen matra sparshastu kaunteya. When the sense organs come in contact with their respective sense objects, they will come in contact. If the eyes are open, they will come in contact with color and form. The nose is always breathing, so there will be contact with either good odor or bad odor. There will be a contact of hearing, touching. So this contact is unavoidable. The contact is unavoidable. What can be avoided? What happens is when the sense organs come in contact with the objects, which is absolutely, it cannot be avoided, the person gets pushed away or towards due to the likes and dislikes that a person has in his mind. And this is what Bhagwan is telling here, that don't come under the sway of the likes and dislikes. Contact, unavoidable. Interaction, unavoidable. What can be avoided is the likes and dislikes that are in your mind. And those likes and dislikes are dictated by the vasanas. So we have come with a set of vasanas where we like a certain type of person, a certain type of situation, a certain type of object, and certain others we don't like. Now, if the contact is unavoidable, then this, like, why is tayorna vasham agachet? So one who comes under their sway, under the sway of likes and dislikes, they are his enemy. The desire itself is not an enemy. When the sense organs come in contact with the objects, there will be a desire either for or against, to either want it or go away from it. The desire, it's by itself is not an enemy. The like and dislike, the intensity, the more the intense like, the more you're going to want it. The more intense the dislike, the more you're going to want to run away from it. And that is what has to be avoided. One must not come under their sway, under the sway of likes and dislikes. Now, the thing here is, we have seen three types of people already. We have seen the karmis, right, who are acting to fulfill their desires. Then there is the karma yogi, who is now acting to not just fulfill the desires, but to purify the mind. And then there is the karma sannyasi, who is a realized master. Now, this one, as far as the realized person is concerned, realized master is concerned, he knows this. He will not come under the likes and dislikes, under the sway of likes and dislikes. Why? Because he has already conquered his likes and dislikes. He has conquered the likes and dislikes, and now he's interacting in the world. And he knows that the sense organs, as long as they are functioning, they will come in contact with the objects. And yes, an interaction will happen. And it doesn't affect him because the mind has been extremely purified. Now, the karmi, who is this thing, he will always be under the sway of likes and dislikes. And you will see these such type of people. I like this, so I will do this. I don't like this, so I will not do that. They are constantly under that sway, and therefore they are constantly agitated, because what happens is, what you like, you don't get, and what you don't like, you get. And so there's a state of constant agitation. We are not there either. We are studying Bhagavad Gita. We are in the classes. So we are in the middle. So now what should our practice be, our sadhana be, is to not come under the sway of likes and dislikes. Now, how do I do this? How do I not come under the sway of likes and dislikes? So the first thing with this is that the mind, it is in the mind. Like and dislike is in the mind. So the mind should be trained not to come under the sway. Mind should be trained. Because the senses cannot be trained. If the eyes are open, they're going to see. You cannot train the eyes not to see something. You cannot do that. So the senses are out of our control. They are as though cursed to go outwards. They will go outwards and they will interact with the same. But the mind can be trained. Now, one control of the mind, one way of doing it is by giving it a choice. Control, when we use the word control, it's like forcing the mind. You control, you're forcing the mind. If you force the mind to do something, maybe at that time the mind will agree, will do as per what you want, but it will come back with double force. So suppression of the mind will work at that point. Suppressing the mind will work at a point, but at a later time, it will come out with double force. So suppression is not the answer. Sometimes you can use suppression, but that is not a permanent solution. What is the solution is sublimation, and sublimation is giving a choice to the mind. Now, what do we mean by giving a choice to the mind? Okay, so in our case, what we can say is, or first, let me start with an example in the worldly world, which I have given many times, is the case of an Olympic athlete. Okay, so the athlete is now wanting the gold medal. So now what happens is, when the contestant, the person likes to party, right? The person wants to party. Now, so the mind, that person has to give a choice. Do I want the gold medal, or should I go for what I like, which is partying? Or should I be practicing because my eyes are on the gold medal? And this is the choice that the mind has to be given. And the mind has to be told that I want the gold medal. The importance in my life is to the gold medal. That is what is very important to me. So because of that, I am now going to let go of something which I like, which is party. So this is the choice that we have to give the mind. Now, in our case, the choice, there's no gold medal waiting for us, but the choice is, do I want to purify my mind or not? And why do I want to purify mind? Do I want a peaceful mind, or do I want a mind in pieces? So if I give value to that purity of mind, if I give value to the peace of mind at our level, then what I will do is I will not do what I like to do, and I will not do what I don't like to do, but I will do what is to be done. That is the difference. See, there is one thing which I like and I don't like, but then there is one thing known as what is my duty. Very common example is, if I'm a diabetic, then of course I like to eat sweets. But is that good for me? That is the choice. Like, yes, I do like to eat sweets, but no, it is not good for me because it's going to take my blood sugar high. So I let go. This is how the mind has to be slowly trained. This is where that Shreya Preya Vivek comes in, which we have heard in Kathopanishad. There is something which is pleasing to the senses, and then there is something which is good for me. So I have to train the mind to pick that which is good and let go of that which is supposedly pleasing my senses. This is how slowly we don't let the mind come under the sway of likes. And this is what is, likes and dislikes also will be there. Like and dislike is a thought. Like is a thought, dislike is a thought. Mind is not devoid of thoughts at any time. Thought is there, desire is there, interaction of the senses with the objects these are all there. They are there. Whether you're coming under their sway or not is important. And the way not to come under their sway is to let the mind know, before you let the mind know, you yourself should first understand what is good for me and what is not good for me. If I understand that this is good for me, then I should train the mind. No, I do like to eat sweets, but it is really not good for me. And then you let go of that thing which you like. Coming under this, when you come under the sway of like and dislike, they become your enemies. That's what, yes, you're paripanthi now. What do the enemy do? Enemy will agitate you. They are his foes, they are enemies. Okay? At a very practical level, this likes and dislikes, we can work on them by trying not to comment on anything. See, we give judgment. We do judgment calls. We see somebody and we say, that's not how this is to be done. That's how this is. Very, do you agree? Like, don't we do that? It's a natural thing of the mind, like, oh, what kind of a clothes has she worn, like, this is very common. Avoid. The way to the thought will come, okay, but don't verbalize it. Do not say. That is the first step. Thought coming, we cannot avoid. The realized masters, even thought doesn't arise to them, okay, but we are not at that stage. We are not at that stage. So we are at a stage where thought will come. Don't verbalize it. I mean, I walk on the road and I see so many things. I'm like, okay, just keep quiet. And those people I don't even know. They're just walking on the road, right? So one thing is, do not comment on anything. Second thing is, if you're not asked or if it is not your place to get involved, don't get involved. Don't get involved in anything. For parents-in-law, we should never get involved in our children's lives unless we are asked, some advice has been asked or something. Then otherwise, stay out. Let them handle it. If they are going to make mistakes, they will make mistakes and they will learn. Don't try to interfere in their lives, okay? And then it's not like every single person we have to go on helping. We can maintain our calm if help is asked and if we can give that help, because this giving help is getting involved. We need to maintain the peace of our mind. Then this is how we do it. So the way to handle the sway of the likes and dislikes is to understand what is good for me. Give my mind, tell my mind, this is the choice. Follow my Dharma. Actually, okay, I think next verse we are coming into that. Shri answer. Okay. So, so, when I follow, there are two words. One is Swadharma, one is Swarupa Dharma. Swadharma we have talked about. What I am good at. Swadharma is as per the Shastras, which is as per Varna and Ashrama, which is my position in life. Dharma is as per what is my position in life. If I were to give you the example of Arjun only in Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was a Kshatriya. His dharma was to fight, but what he wanted to do was give up the fight and go and beg. Okay, so begging is also not wrong. Fighting is also not wrong, but Shastra tells us who should be fighting and who should be begging. That who is very important. It is not like begging is wrong. For a Brahmin, a bhikshu, that is the thing. He should not be fighting. He should be begging for food. Whereas the Kshatriya should be fighting, not begging. So Shastra tells us who can do what. And that we should understand. Now, at the time of Arjun, he knew the scriptures. I told you, he was a very well-educated person. He knew the scriptures. What is happening right now is, do we know the scriptures even? We don't even know what the scriptures are telling us. We don't know that. So then what happens is, what we have to do, we don't know what actually scripture is saying, but we need to figure out what is good or bad. That at least we will know. We don't know what scripture is telling us, but don't I know what is good for my body, not good for my body? Is not my doctor telling me that? Right? So for us, maybe for Arjun, scripture, therefore Bhagavan said, scriptures also, you are by whatever scriptures are saying, you're a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. But we suppose we don't know. But we know what our doctors are telling us, what, Shreya prayer we should know for our own body. I was in the, in this resort holiday, whatever, and this friend of mine, she, in the evening, everything was included, so she had a latte in the evening, right? Next day at the same time, they're saying, oh, shall we have a latte? And then she said, no, because last night I didn't sleep. So you know that if I drink coffee or tea late at night, I will not be, just because it is free, you don't go on drinking it. Or all those sugary drinks which were included, quote unquote, you're going to, I'm going to put on weight. So I stayed away. So that much at least we know, na? That much so we know. Maybe we don't know what scriptures are saying, but that much we know. So the thing is that following Swadharma, here now, one thing we must look at, in verse 33, Bhagavan said that there is a pressure, internal pressure. So what can external instruction do? That is what he said. And then in 34, he said, you must not come under the sway of likes and dislikes. So the question might arise that you are saying there is a push, right? And the push is towards either likes or dislikes, because that is how the vasanas are. Bhagavan only said first that internal push is there, external instruction cannot do anything. And now you are saying that you should keep your senses under control. So I can say that, oh, but there is an internal push and now I cannot do anything. It seems like an apparent contradiction. So we need to understand these two verses like together. You understand the question? First he said, Nigra Kim Karisha. He said outside control cannot do anything because that push is from inside. Now he's saying you control this thing. Now outside instruction is not doing anything. So now how do I control? How can that be? How can these two verses be reconciled? So both are correct. Both verses are correct. There is the pressure, and that pressure must be neutralized by following Swadharma. So see, if I were to give you Gurudev's example, if I hold on to the lighthouse, no matter how big or how small the wave is, will I go up and down? Because I am clinging to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is not shaking at all. I will not shake. If I cling to a piece of wood, a log of small piece of wood, I will go up and down. So with this, now how do I keep the senses under control is to hold on to something. Now, what do I hold on to is important. That's where at one level you hold on to that which is good for you. Shreya Praya Vivek you can do, because if you don't know the scriptures, okay, so you do Shreya Praya Vivek, you say this is not good for me, I'm going to hold on to that this is not good for me, I must not do this. That's one level. The second level is understand what your Swadharma is. What is, like Arjun's example, he was a warrior. So if you are inclined towards that dharma, Swadharma, if you all remember, I gave you the definition. Swadharma, see, dharma is every seed will sprout, is the seed of every dharma. But a mango seed will only give you mango fruit, and a apple seed will only give you an apple fruit. That is the Swadharma of the mango seed and the apple seed. So dharma of both seeds, dharma is something which is common to all of us, and Swadharma is my own tendencies. That's why we see that in children. Both children born to the same parents, one wants to be a doctor, one wants to be an artist, a singer, a dancer. Totally up. One is going into science, one is going into arts. So that is the Swadharma. Okay, so if we can understand that, what is my Swadharma, and then hold on to that this is not my Swadharma to do this. That's why we give you these very basic instructions. Is it my duty to get involved in somebody else's life? Have they asked for my advice? Should I be advising them? Am I in a position to advise also? There are people, this is the diagnosis. Are you a doctor? That you're making a diagnosis of that other person. So we need to think, we are spiritual significant. I'm not a doctor. Whatever is safe, you tell, but otherwise, that too, if they ask you. So these are the ways that you stay with your dharma. Now, following that Swadharma for a long period of time, you will reach the Swarupa Dharma, because the final, the ultimate goal of every human being is to reach the supreme reality. Okay, so that is the ultimate, like I want to reach Atman, I want to reach Brahman, so I shouldn't be doing all these things, because these are now not making my mind purified. You get it? Any questions? Okay, so it is level. So at one level, see what is good for you, what is not good. Because how do you deal with likes and dislikes? This is the question here. Because Bhagwan has said that one who comes under the sway of likes and dislikes, they are his enemies. That means enemy is what? Enemy is going to destroy you. What is the enemy going to do? Enemy. What does it mean by enemy? Enemy is somebody who doesn't want your good. And what is not good in Vedantic studies is getting more and more vasanas for more and more births. Okay, it is, there's nothing like, oh, then we won't earn money, we won't get money, nothing like that, nothing like that. It is this thing. So for avoiding that future birth, I need peace I need purity of mind. Highest level, I want to completely avoid that. Realized, okay, but I'm not at that level. Do I want my mind to be peaceful? Ask yourself that. Third thing is this good for my body? This is now lower level, body. For your body also, this is not good. So why are you doing something just because you like it? Freedom is not in doing what I like and not doing what I don't like. Freedom is doing that which has to be done. So when the doctor is telling me to rest, I don't like to stay at home. So I want to run around here and there. But if the doctor is telling me, then that has to be done. Then you must be able to do that. Is when you're really free. Otherwise, you're a slave to the likes and dislikes. Otherwise, you're a slave. Do I want to be a slave? Ask yourself, do I want to be a slave? Or do I want to be a master of my mind? Mind is telling me, do this, that, eat that, go there, go do this, this. So whatever the mind is telling you, you're doing. So who is in charge? Then mind is in charge. This is why. So by holding on to your dharma, and that will help you to reduce the pressure. And that's why the next verse comes up. Okay, therefore now Bhagwan is saying, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. Better one's own duty, quote in quotes it has been put, though devoid of merit, than the duty of another well discharged. Better is death in one's own duty. The duty of another is fraught with fear, is productive of positive danger. This is to be understood very well. Dharma, first point here, is not to be taken as religion. I'll tell you something. When I was very small, my mother knew this only. She knew only this last two words of this verse: Paradharmo bhayavaha. Okay, and my own mother, she didn't know at that time either, and she took it as religion. So she would say that, oh, we must not convert our religion. Bhagwan has said, Paradharmo bhayava, means it's frightening to become a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. Don't change your religion. This is how she used to take it. She took it. That is extremely wrong. Okay, it's not correct. So now what is Shreyan Swadharma? So that's why Swadharma has to be understood correctly. What is my dharma? What is my inclination? Okay, so Swadharma, birth, see, there are 4 ashramas and 4 varnas, right? So we have our 4 ashramas of brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. These are the 4 ashramas. The 4 varnas are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Okay, so this Swadharma is determined, one is by birth. What we have seen so far is whatever type of karmas we do in the past lives gives us a birth, right? So if I have done a lot of studying, if I am of a very sattvic bent of mind, if I have developed all those type of things, this is what is Daivi Sampatti, which we are studying in chapter 16. So if I have done actions to have those type of this thing, then I will get birth in a Brahmin family. Otherwise, I am a Kshatriya, a warrior, more rajas. Vaishya, also more rajas, but also with tamas. And tamasic is the people who serve. They are the kind of people who give me instructions and I will do what you're telling me. So there is no leadership qualities. In the Brahmins, there will be leadership qualities. In the Kshatriyas, there will be this protective instinct that I have to protect everybody. Vaishya will be trading, economics, business, that they'll be good. So the children will, every human being will exhibit his own. Now, he may be born in a Brahmin family. So the birth entirely doesn't determine Swadharma, but he might want to be an economist. He might want to go into business. So when a person is born in a Brahmin family and is a brahmachari and he wants to study business, then he must study business. That is what is meant here by Swadharma. It has got nothing to do with religion. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, nothing. What is your inclination? So what Bhagwan is saying here is, you Shreya, we've seen Shreya prayer. Shreya is good. So it is good to be following your own dharma, devoid of, if it may not give you merit. Okay, so people might not, with case of Arjun, his dharma, his dharma also was Kshatriya, his Swadharma also was Kshatriya. Means what? Fighting. So what he's thinking is, what Arjun thought, killing my grandfather and my guru will give me sin. Right? Remember in chapter 1, he said that. So that's why now Bhagwan is telling him, even if you think that you are going to get sin by killing them, you need to kill them, because that is your Swadharma. This is what he means here by vigor. Because see, this, I told you, this discourse is meant specifically for Arjun, right? And Arjun specifically has asked, tell me what is good for me. Therefore, Bhagavan is saying, your Swadharma is to fight. Now, even if you think, I don't think like that. Bhagavan says, you're not going to get sin. But you think, you said that, oh, my own grandfather, if I kill, my own guru, if I kill, now I'm going to get sin. He says, it's okay. You take the sin, but you do your dharma, your Swadharma. So hold on to your Swadharma. That is, and what did Arjun say? I don't like to kill, he said. Now, my grandfather, I don't like to kill. So because he did not like to kill, he wanted to step down from the war. That is not allowed. That's how you can come away from the sway of likes and dislikes. How do I come out of that sway? Because if external instruction is not going to do anything, then internally you should know what your Swadharma is and you hold on to it. You hold on to it. Therefore, here he's saying that even though it gives you sin, you do it. And Paradharma swanushtitat. So in this, suppose Arjun, you're a very good person. You'll beg to the, what should I say, to the best of your ability, you're able to beg. Okay? No, that is sin for you. For you as a Kshatriya to go and beg is sinning. You should not be doing. So for us, we need to understand what exactly do I want in life? What do I want to do in life? What is my final purpose? Is to realize the self. Okay, that is for everybody. Now, how can I know what my dharma is? I must see what position I am in, not compare it to other. Oh, that person is, doing all this, so I should do all this. Am I in that position? So that's where this brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyas comes in. Am I a brahmachari? And brahmachari is who? Up to only age 25. Huh? So don't think that I'm 60, but I'm a brahmachari. It is not, brahmachari is not unmarried. Brahmachari is not one who is brahmachari is up to 25. So if I am a brahmachari, then my job is to study. My Swadharma is to study. My Swadharma is not to go for parties and here and there and all those things. So if I am in school, university, college, about up to age 25. 25 to 50 is grahasthashram. Then if I am married, I have a family, then my job, my Swadharma is to maintain the family first and then earn enough to do charity or do all the rituals. Previously, they used to say then as a grahastha, because you need husband, wife both, you have the right to do the rituals, the pujas, Satyanarayan puja, this puja, that, because all the pujas, they require husband and wife. So as a grahastha, then children, looking after the children becomes your Swadharma. That is your primary duty. If you have small children, that is your primary duty. So looking after your family, looking after your children. Then, as per Manusmriti, after 50 to 75 age, about, is Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha ashram, but now because things are all getting delayed. People are studying beyond 25, getting married late, getting children late. Retirement age is 65 for us. So 50 doesn't work. So generally they say, when you see this face of your first grandchild, or now, then also even that now sort of little bit changed, because then now the children are saying, we don't want to get married. Now what to do? Now no grandchild. That means what? There's no vanaprastha for me. So now it has been modified to when they become independent. So baseline is, if your children are on their own, they have their own jobs, they are independent, you have no more duty towards them. And so in Vanaprastha, the main duty is Swadhyaya, studies. That becomes the main. So those of us who are in Vanaprastha, that is, so there should not be too much involvement in anything outside. That withdrawal should come. Vairagya should be dawning. If this karma yoga is followed in, that's why we say that The studies are to be done from young age. See, throughout your life, if you, that's why later on in chapter 8, it will come, Bhagavan makes a statement. He says, at the last minute, whoever remembers me will come to me. And what people have asked Gurudev, and they think, so why should I remember him now? He said, last moment, if I will remember him at the last moment. The question is, if you have not remembered him throughout your life, will you be able to remember him at the last moment? Something which you have not done throughout your life. That is where this Bal Vihar and this classes, young people think, and now there's another one. No, Bal Vihar my children require, but I don't need to attend class. There are many parents who are not attending classes. I know that in our own Bal Vihar, right? Because they think, yeah, children should have that knowledge. But me, it is not required. It's wrong. That is incorrect. Because this knowledge we need now, it is a science of living. It is not a science of death. What death will happen, and after death, who cares what happens? If you want a better life next time, you need to follow now. Therefore, the principles of karma yoga, if you follow, then you will, when you come into vanaprastha, there will be an automatic withdrawal. It'll be like that autumn leaf falling off of the tree, where there is no pain to the tree and there's no pain to the leaf. And if at this stage also there is pain for me to let go of something, that means I have not, my studies are not complete, I am not established in my studies, I have not done karma yoga properly. And maybe I have not done because I came into this knowledge late. So at least now we should try and follow these. Therefore, Bhagavan says here, Paradharmat swa anushtitat. Even if you do this, something which is not your duty, you do it to the best of your ability, very well you do it, yet it is not going to give you merit. Swadharme nidanam shreyaha. Doing your swadharma, it is good for you to die even doing your swadharma. Therefore, for Arjun, the instruction is, doesn't matter, you do your swadharma and you get killed in battle, it's okay. Already Bhagavan said, if you die in the battle, doors of heaven are open for you. That means heaven is guaranteed for you. This is what he says here. Paradharma, but this is what he says. Bhayava means it's fearful. Why fearful? Because it is going to give you demerit. It is going to hurl you into life and death. Again, the cycle of birth and death. Okay. So understand Swadharma as per our Varna and Ashrama. Both are in play. Ashram also is in play. Varna, Ashrama are in play. Okay. So with this, holding on to this, you can reconcile the 33 and 34 verses. Where first Bhagavan said, what can external instruction do? And then he said, control your sense organs, or rather, controlling of sense organs will come if you control your likes and dislikes. If your likes and dislikes are neutralized, it won't matter. If the eye sees something I don't like, I don't like it, or I don't dislike it. It doesn't matter. It matters to us because there is something which I like and something which I don't like. This is how I establish a relationship with the world. I like this, I don't like this. That is a relationship that I have established based on what I like and based on what I don't like. And to get carried away with that, okay, you establish, there's nothing wrong. Nobody is going to say, oh, I love the rain, it's okay and all that. Everybody says that, no, it's nice, nice sunny day, I like it, But if there is rain, then don't get upset. All right? Okay. Any questions on what is being said? Now Arjun asks a question. So we'll see the question, but the answer we'll see next time.
Jayadi, I have one question, because what you said this is the last part of the verse. Paradharma, meaning somebody else's duty, if you do. But why is it so fearful? Why does it say it?
No, not somebody else's duty. Okay, so here Paradharma and Swadharma understand. So let's take Arjun. So Arjun said he wants to beg. That is Paradharma, right? That is Paradharma for him. Because being a Kshatriya, he's begging. Now, that is fearful. You know why? Because his Swadharma is there. That is going to keep on thinking. He'll beg and he'll say, I should have killed Duryodhan. Duryodhan did this. Duryodhan did that.
Okay.
You see?
Got it. Got it.
That's why it is fearful. And then he will not have peace of mind at all. That's why Bhagavan told him, you will go to the forest, you will look at a tree, you will say, that is Duryodhan, you will cut down the tree. This is Duryodhan. Because it is not his dharma to go and meditate.
Okay.
He was not at that age. He was, he was a grahastha. That's why, when we are also not well prepared and we try to meditate, what happens to us? Mind is wandering. Mind is wandering. Now, one thing I'll tell you, even though the mind wanders, keep up your practice of meditation, because that is a vasana that you are developing for your future birth. Keep the practice of japa. If you're doing japa and the mind wanders, okay, and you know what happens over time? First, the mind will wander, but later on, the mind will slowly settle down. And remember that this is a sadhana throughout lives. It is not just throughout days or weeks or months or this life. Remember that whatever you do in this life, you will take it with you in your next life. So if you have done japa in this life, done meditation, whatever meditation that you think, for Rajasic people, just sit 5 minutes quietly. See how difficult that is. Just sit quietly. Just try. So if you can do that, that is remembering that there is a next birth. That should not be forgotten. That is what the karmis, that is the difference. They say this life I will enjoy, finished. After death, everything is finished. It is not. It is not. That needs to be remembered.
This was a confusion between the paradharma, like somebody else's duty or in my duty. That was the confusion.
No. This is like, suppose if my duty right now is to speak, then also, now see, and duty also changes from minute to minute for us. So right now my duty is to speak. Okay, fine. Also, then there is a duty on what I should be speaking. I cannot just speak random some subject. I have to speak on Gita. Then again, there is a specification. I have to be in chapter 3. Then again, there is a specific. I have to be on chapter. If I say chapter 3, okay, now let's start from the beginning. That is not my duty. At this moment, my duty is to talk on this particular verse. So, and after this class is over, then my duty will completely change. It will be something totally different, right? So for us, we have to follow that. Now we'll just see this, because I need to everybody to see the PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to read the verse. Arjuna vacha athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichanapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. But impelled by what does man commit sin, though against his wishes, O Varshneya, constrained as it were by force. So here Arjun is realizing, because he talked about that internal pressure, that there is an internal pressure. So what exactly is that pressure? This question actually has been answered in chapter 2, verse 62 and 63, which is the ladder of fall. Dhyayato vishayan punsa, where when you meditate on objects, then desire arises, anger, etc., etc. But Arjun, always, like Gurudev always has put it, is a military man. He needs everything together. So now these are just scattered instructions that were given. Now he wants it all in one. He tells me exactly, he's asking, who are these enemies? Because this word enemy and killing are, they are his vocabulary. He's a warrior. So enemy and killing is something he understands totally. So that's why now he's saying, who are these enemies within? Tell me. And then he'll say, where do they reside? That also Bhagavan will tell, so that I can go kill them. And people always think this is so violent and Gita is so violent. It is not like that. It is not, Bhagavan is not talking about killing somebody else. He's talking about killing your own negative feelings. And for Arjun, and that's why again and again I'm saying this, Bhagavan is only talking to Arjun there. Bhagavan is not talking to the whole world. He's talking to Arjun. And now Arjun is a military man. So this killing, enemy, all these words are very familiar to him. So that's why. So now here he has, Ata kena prayuktam is push. By what? What is that push? Who are they who are pushing this person as if against his own wish to commit sin? That's why when we come under the sway of likes and dislikes, we will do things like this because of that push. That is why that push has to be controlled. The push, that is the whole thing. The pressure inside, pressure has to be neutralized, has to reduce. So he says, papam charati, he does sin. Anichannapi, that it does not wish, it does not want to do it, but still he does it. That's what the vasana description is. The strong vasana will make you say something, will make you do something which you really don't want to do. You really don't want to do that, but you say, and so many times say, oh Lord, why did I even say that? Why did I even do that, right? Baladiva niyojita. Very strong. They're very strong. This push is very strong. We will see the answer next time.